Well, let's bring in Nicholas Booth, who works for the United Nations Development Programme in Papua New Guinea, and he joins us from Port Moresby. Nicholas, thanks for joining us. Tell us more about the situation on the ground at the moment. How is the search and rescue operation going, as far as you know?
Well, it's very much as your correspondent just described it. So the army is there, engineers are there from the army, and there is heavy equipment being dispatched there. Supplies left the provincial capital earlier today, so there's water, food, and other non-food items are on their way to the affected communities. So police are there, defense are there, local government are there, UN agencies and other international partners are there, all contributing to the relief efforts. There was some preliminary supplies were delivered to the communities over the weekend, and those have been replenished with the aid that's going there today. But as you say, it's an extremely difficult operation. It's a very fluid situation with continued terrain movement, and as you've mentioned, it's extraordinary efforts are taking place, but against a lot of challenges.
Yeah, indeed. I would imagine local infrastructure has been very badly damaged as well, hampering the efforts of rescue workers to even get there. We've heard from the organisation Care Australia. They've pointed out that a lot of the people in the area were already displaced because of local tribal violence. And this must have only further complicated the situation.
Yes, it's true that in addition to the population of the village, there is an additional displaced population because there has been tribal conflict near there. And as I say, that also means that we have to be careful, in our estimates about how many have been affected. I know that various figures, which are all estimates, have been cited by different parties, including by the communities themselves. We're still working closely with the government to try and get, the most accurate numbers we can about those affected. But you're quite right that the number could be higher because of the number of displaced people from outside the area who have been living in the village.
And we have also heard from the National Disaster Centre, which is a part of the government there in Papua New Guinea. They haven't actually asked for any help from overseas. And perhaps that's changed. Perhaps you can update us. But what does that say about the scale of the situation and how manageable it is?
Well, I think that's not quite accurate. Actually, the National Disaster Committee contacted us. So we co-chair a disaster management team together with international partners. There's a lot of international partners on the ground. You probably know Papua New Guinea is quite frequently affected by natural disasters. And there's actually a well-working system of coordination. Lots of international partners who quite often work with the government in providing humanitarian aid. And so that system is quite well regulated. And so yesterday, the National Disaster Committee asked us to reach out to our international partners, and we are working with them quite closely to support the government in the relief effort.
OK, Nicholas Booth from the United Nations Development Programme. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thanks for having me on the programme.
Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.